Welcome to week 16 IDP Guys Start Sit Show. We are moving to Friday today just because of the Christmas season or Christmas weekend and 11 games being played tomorrow. So we figured this is the best time to go live with you guys. But I am joined here with Seth. He's a first time or guest on the show. He's an IDP guy as well. Seth, do you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell the subscribers what you do for us?
Hi, my name's Seth Friederman. I do the weekly wide receiver rankings in non-dynasty for IDP Guys. And I live in Queens, New York City, and coming to you live from Queens, New York City right now. And where the wind is howling at 100 miles an hour. It's like out of a folk song or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey!
And Will gets in here just in time. Will,
exactly. He's like sliding in just under the tag at the plate. Will, nice.
So, Will, how's the weather down in Florida? Oh, froze. There you go. Oh, you're muted.
Okay. Hello?
There you go.
There you go. Hey.
All right. I'm here.
How's the weather?
Oh, my God. It's so beautiful in Florida.
He says that with extra venom because he knows the rest of the country is in hell at the moment. Frozen hell.
I mean,
it is 60 degrees out right now.
At least
and no wind.
Jeez. Yeah. It's -1 real with a feel like of -30 with 50 to 60 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, and we have also 50 and 60 mile an hour winds, and we're at about 10, 12, something like that. So.
And then we had rain all yesterday, so it all froze overnight.
Right, yeah, really. Real great stuff for everybody.
But
sounds.
So basically what we're just saying here is that the universe is not pissed at Florida, but it is very
not
pissed
yet
at everywhere else.
But with that being said, this is going to affect games this week.
Oh, yeah.
We got Buffalo. That's going to be, I believe, wind chill of -30. Yeah, Cleveland in the same boat. I'm just trying to run down the list here, but there's a lot of games that are being affected by this.
Even as far south as Baltimore, they're going to be affected.
Kansas City is going to be affected by at least by the winds and a little bit of chill. So. What are we looking at as far as an IDP side? Are we going linebacker heavy here, or what are your thoughts?
Yes, I'm going to run extra linebackers. I think some of those fringe guys that maybe were flex guys almost might be like an LB3, LB2, LB3 for you this week, just because a lot of those teams, you talk about Baltimore, they're already a run-heavy offense. And now they're going to be in that weather where they're really not going to want to pass. Tennessee is kind of the same deal. They're kind of a run heavy as it is, and the weather is going to prohibit them from passing. So I think we're going to see a lot more relevant linebackers and probably a lot of defensive line being relevant this week too.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody knows the run is coming, it makes it a lot easier to stop because both sides are just going to try to kill each other with the run. I mean, maybe we'll see variations. But it's definitely going to bring the offense down across the board.
But what are you guys going to be doing? What are you guys going to be doing with your defensive backs? Are you looking for good weather games or the dome games and trying to play those matchups instead of going to like Buffalo or Cleveland where they're probably not going to be throwing the ball?
Yeah, I would. No. I mean, of course, it makes sense, right?
I think it sounds like Will's got a plan here. Rely. Yeah, I'm still going to rely on the DBs I've been relying on. I think even if they're in the cold weather games, the passing volume is going to be down. But again, we already said that teams are expecting that volume to be down, so they're going to put their players in positions to make plays.
So if you have any questions about matchups, even last minute start sit questions, get those in the comments below. We'll get those answered. We got Seth here for the first half hour of the show, and then it'll be myself and Will taking over for the last half or so until we run out of questions. So I see that we do have a couple questions in here. Will's going to be first. Would you play either one of the following guys over Dexter Lawrence? Russo, Hunter, Simmons, Ojulari, Sweat, Buckner. Currently, he's playing Jared Allen, so he's looking for the best option.
I actually think I like Dexter Lawrence out of that group.
Yeah, I mean, there are other guys on there who are having good seasons. I think of Sweat in particular, but the matchup is terrible this week. Dallas gives up nothing, Bupkis. So yeah, that's. I'd stay with him. I agree.
Yeah, I think he's got a good matchup against Minnesota. Minnesota is over the last 3 games is averaging a little over 4 sacks a game. So you've got a good opportunity for sacks there. I don't have my tackles pulled up, but I know Minnesota was high on that list for tackles a game as well. So I think you've got a lot of good opportunity for Dexter Lawrence. And I don't see quite the same sack opportunity for the other guys on your list there. Maybe Josh Sweat pulls 1 or 2, pulls 1 out on Dallas. But that's probably the best case scenario there for Josh Sweat.
So, Will's telling us it's minus 32 Celsius. So I'm not very good at that conversion and snow there. We need our friends from Canada to help us out with that conversion there.
Which I had
Go ahead.
for like 5 minutes. Really? I had it. I went up to
Will is also asking, are you guys going with Minshew or Purdy? He has Hurts, but I own A.J. Brown, Kittle, and McCaffrey. Also, sit one of A.J. Brown, St. Brown, Waddle, Jones, Walker, Stevenson, and Watson.
So I put him at the bottom.
My concern with Minshew is that they're just going to hand it off. Again, it's I worry about. I mean, we know he likes to go downfield, but this is not the week for that. Not by where the Eagles are in the standings or by the weather. So that I don't know. Purdy, I mean, I don't know that the upside's great, but I don't think the floor is terrible.
I think I'm leaning Minshew out of those two there.
Okay.
I think he's got more talented depth at the wide receiver position.
Okay.
Dallas is unfortunately known for giving up big plays. They're going to be down LVE this week. They're going to be down their rookie Sam Williams. And they also lost, what's that tackle that they just signed a couple of weeks ago? So they've got a few injuries, and these aren't necessarily the biggest names on that defense, but those guys play a solid role. And I think that's going to give Minshew a little more time in the pocket, opportunity to find those talented receivers, and he's got Miles Sanders to dump the ball off to.
So real quick before we move on to the next part of the question, has Purdy given us enough of a sample to actually be safe enough to start?
I feel like what I've seen of him on the good drives, and there have been good drives, is an understanding of the offense. I think he reads it well. Small sample size, sure, but I think when the 49ers offense is clicking, I think he can run it fairly efficiently because I think he understands it. And I think he understands also where his limitations are, which is what I would want from a quarterback in his situation.
Do you think Minshew has enough reps under his belt with Philadelphia to come in and score big on a fantasy day?
I don't necessarily think he needs more reps. I think his receivers, you're talking about Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, both very talented guys, can make catches on balls that maybe aren't the most catchable options or catchable passes. They can make big plays. They can turn small passes into big yards. And I know Purdy has McCaffrey and he has Kittle over there, but that's kind of it for Purdy. And Minshew's got a couple better options out there. And again, that Dallas secondary is beatable. It's absolutely beatable. They're going to give up a couple of big plays, and Minshew's going to be the beneficiary of that. And I don't know that the Commanders are giving up quite the big plays that the Cowboys are.
And for the Commanders, they are getting Chase Young back this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Have you? I haven't seen it. Have you seen anything about snap limitations or what they're expecting him to play?
No, I haven't seen it, and I was looking.
Yet.
Yeah, no, and you know what though, that staff, I think they play it a little closer to the vest than most. I mean, they'll give what is required by the league in terms of updates, but it's like the way Tomlinson handles it with the Steelers, very close to the vest.
So we'll get back to Chase Young here because I think that's going to be an interesting topic. But for the second part of Will's question, he's got to sit one. Are you sitting A.J. Brown, St. Brown, Waddle, Jones, Walker, Stevenson, or Watt?
In the water. Yeah.
Which Walker are we talking about here?
Hey, Will, which Walker are you talking about? What was it? Does that make a big change in your decision? Will?
No, probably not. It's probably Christian Watson for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the opportunities are going to be very limited for that kind of stretch play.
And it's Ken Walker.
I love that kid. I love that kid. He's fun to watch. I like him.
Yeah, if Walker's
as the old man here, I got to say. I liked him coming out of college too, but I couldn't get him in the draft at all.
Yeah, with Dobbs coming back, Watson hasn't really had the opportunities he had previously, so he's my sit if Ken Walker doesn't go. If Walker doesn't go, then obviously
we do need to be looking for updates for Walker if you're playing him.
Derek Dodge, I picked up Thibodeau for the Giants. Would you hope he stays hot, or are you going with Pay in Indianapolis?
I like both these guys a lot. I got to say, they're fun to watch play. Indy's defense is having such a wasted year. I mean, they're good. They just are on the field all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, there are opportunities, but guys are getting hurt because they get ground down. There's just too many reps. They're exhausted and they're pissed off. And
I think personally, I'm going to stay in the Flames with Thibodeau.
Yeah, and I like the matchup too. So yeah,
and that's a lot of what it is. It's matchup there.
Yeah, I like that too. Will
they got Nick? Indy has Nick Foles. Not Indy. What am I saying? Never mind.
It's all right. It's the holidays. Everything is permissible. It's everybody. You could just say I started on the eggnog early, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I got some eggnog waiting for me downstairs mixed with some bourbon. I can't wait to get into it.
All right, into the season. I like it. Who's wasting no time?
No. DJ Duvernay, he needs one. It's a full PPR. Hopkins or Montgomery. He's debating on what the impact will be of Khalil Herbert and how the upside lowers with Trace McSorley throwing to Hopkins. Arizona got the only good weather game too.
What do you think, Will?
I appreciate you throwing to me first on that one. So we saw McSorley with Hopkins, and it was ugly. He caught 2 of 8 targets or 2 of 6 targets for 20 some odd yards.
Yeah.
Love the targets, but if Hopkins can't do anything with the targets, that's
right.
concerning.
If Hopkins can't bring down your pass, it's probably you.
Yeah. There's a reason McSorley was undrafted, I think, and a converted tight end.
Yeah.
So I like Khalil Herbert, honestly. Even without trashing Montgomery. Oh yeah, sorry, I was reading half the question. I still like Montgomery, even with Herbert coming back. We've seen the pair of them work, and the upside for Montgomery was not as high with Herbert previously, but I still think Montgomery's upside is better than what you're going to get from Hopkins with McSorley.
Yeah, Hopkins is. I look at it as just like I love. Everybody loves D Hop. He's fun to watch. He's great. He's a technician. He's an athlete. He's everything. But yeah, no, it just that last couple times out, too scary. You know what I mean? The floor is just like 2 points, 2.80, something like stupid like that. Where you're looking at that for 4 days.
And I like Montgomery in the situation in Buffalo.
He'll get reps. Yeah, he's going to get a ton.
He's definitely going to get reps because they're not going to be able to throw the ball depending on which way they're going down the field.
Is Montgomery enough of a bruiser to get better as that game goes on?
Has he been? Yes. Is he? I don't know. He hasn't had to answer that question. So I guess we're going to find out, though, because I think he could easily be looking at, at least north of 25 carries. So
DJ saying he agrees. He just needs a safe floor too. He had Ingram last night. Yeah, he went off.
I actually told somebody online not to play him.
Ouch.
I realized after I said it, I had him. I drafted him for my dynasty team years ago, and it was just with the annoying hot and cold with the drops and everything else. I had a bias against him. I didn't see it. So I have to also remember the next time what I learned from that is to check out the most recent film you can find on how a quarterback and tight end are gelling, because you can see that shit if you're paying attention. But I did not look. So.
DJ's also saying that the Chicago feels like it's a frozen tundra right now.
Oh man,
Will's back in. Really out there. I hope everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Your heat stays on. Your hot water keeps running. Really.
Absolutely. Derek, also, would you go with Fields versus Buffalo or Geno Smith versus Kansas City? Third option is Tua versus the Packers. Can't think of advantages, disadvantages of each. Thanks again.
You want to split it up, Will?
No.
All right. I mean, Fields versus Buffalo seems like it's a good play. Again, he's going to be involved, but I don't think they're going to want to risk him too much. So they'll have to see how he starts the game. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be looking at him in the first quarter. So I don't know. That's the risk there. I think he's going to hand off a lot. So yeah, and maybe that eventually if they start biting down hard enough and there's guys just crashing on the box from from the bleachers, then he might run outside. So, and if he gets loose, we know. So he can have one of those games, but it's definitely riskier than I think Geno at KC, because KC is porous.
Yeah. I think a lot of
Geno's good. He's been banged around a little lately, but he's still good.
Yeah, a lot of Fields' production, I think, has come on designed runs and plays breaking down. And with the weather in Buffalo, he's not going to have that same opportunity. So I think you're right there with Fields. I like Geno too. I think that's probably the best opportunity for his team to put up points. Geno, like you said, has been solid. KC has given up points to the quarterback because a lot of teams end up in comeback mode, or they're competing and throwing the ball. So especially if Ken Walker doesn't go, you have to imagine they're going to need to rely on Geno.
And we'll see if it still sounds like one of those kind of like Ronnie Lott, he lost his finger stories, but we'll see if Tyler Lockett is back.
Yeah, that was surprising.
The last news I heard was he was going to miss what that happened last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the week before. Mm-hmm. So he was going to miss this week and then have the potential of being back the week after.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we'll see.
I don't.
I mean, who knows?
I don't see Lockett
pull
being
some
back.
Willis Reed stuff here. That's
they've already tagged Lockett as out. I'm looking at the injury reports.
So you got Tua in the Packers here.
Yes.
Is that a yes? Start over Geno, or
I mean that's in Miami. That's in Miami. So
and his weapons are so good. And they were talking about the coaching staff there was talking about they need to get Gesicki more involved, especially in the red zone, because he can just post up, guys. It's not. I mean, he's huge. Not to oversimplify that corkscrew route on the outside where you just basically pogo stick it. You just go out hard up. But he can do that. He's done it. He did it at Penn State. So he can catch. He's a good inline blocker too, which is why I think they like him, because it lets them do that triple option shit because it takes time.
Yep.
They need that. They need that sniffer, as they call the sniffer, going across. Yeah. So and I don't know. I think I still like Geno over it. I just the Packers defense is solid. but Tua could go off. I don't know. I think that's a 50-50 for me. Am I allowed to say that, or do I have to be definitive?
No, you can totally hedge your bet.
All right, I'm going to hedge because the Tua's upside is woof.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to go with this is if you need a safe floor, if you feel pretty solid, Gino's your guy for a safe floor. If you need a guy that can blow up and really go off, that's Tua, especially at home.
I like that because then that's how you tell our fellow players, how you should look at it.
Yeah, and for you guys that are asking these questions, tell us what your situation is. Are you in
right?
Do you need to score high to make it to the next round, or do you just need a safe floor? So let us know the next time you have a question, and I think that can help answer some of these questions.
Yeah, we playoff time. We have a little more time to dive into your questions for you.
Yeah, right. It's nice, and you know what? Congratulations for making it this far.
Absolutely. Will saying, by the way, Pay and Thibodeau are available with my Lawrence question.
Of what we were talking about
let's
before.
go up here to his Lawrence question. So would you play Thibodeau or Pay over Dexter Lawrence?
That's tough.
Yeah, I like out of those three. If I'm going to make two equal, I'd like Lawrence and Thibodeau. I just, when a guy puts on a performance like that, he's just playing at the absolute top of his game, right now. So, and that defensive players tend to get into grooves like that too. So, especially as the Giants are fighting for a playoff and they look like they have a good roster and they know they have a chance.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Should Will be playing McKinnon over Walker and Watson? Walker scares him with a back injury, although he might want offensive rookie of the year. I'm looking for upside. Nobody has gotten in that matchup.
Oh, okay, so yeah, all
right. So, and this isn't really going to answer the question at all, but I am a little concerned about Walker at this point.
Yeah, sure.
Because he hasn't practiced this week, and I know running backs don't necessarily need to practice so much. You say this is your whole go there, but he hasn't practiced at all, which to me is more concerning with especially a rookie running back. McKinnon played really well the last couple of weeks, and I want to stay in the flames with McKinnon. I'm starting him in a couple of leagues where I have other options that are good, but the upside that McKinnon's has brought the last couple of weeks, I want that on my roster. Especially if you're looking for that upside.
Yeah. That's the way I would have looked at it too. I can't really argue with that. I mean, Walker or Watson could go off. We don't know, but Walker, coming off of injuries, also rookie years, maybe starting to get a little worn down. Let's face it, the NFL is more of a pounding than college football by a lot, and it's a big difference between the pros and college. So, it's not surprising that he's a little beat up. I always love Watson's upside. We all know he could splash once, twice, three times a lady. I like McKinnon here too, just because again, it feels like opportunity and recent performance come together nicely. But again, if we're having these are all every question we get is like that's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, it's the playoff time. Everybody's got a good problem.
I know, right, exactly. It's like embarrassment of riches.
Yeah. Well, hey, Seth, before you get out of here, give us a couple hot takes for fantasy here for going into this week.
Well, I think obviously pay attention to the weather games. That's the cold take, not the hot take. But I think hold on just 2 seconds. I'm sorry. Dealing with holiday stuff. I think stick with your starters. You dance with who brung you. Don't get cute. I mean, a lot of people try to date, that guy on the waiver wire, and I think he could go off, and I like the matchup. And if you've got somebody who's giving you 9 points in standard, keep them, play them. Everybody's got the awful choices. We were just talking about how great these choices are that they have to choose from. Look at matchup. more than anything else at this time of year. I think the last thing I would say is I think something that Will pointed out before is important, and that is look at recent performance. Like, are guys down? Are they beat up? Are they on their third, left corner? That stuff matters a lot at this time of year. It really does. So, all right. Good night, all. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Good night, Seth.
Thanks, Seth. So it's just me and Will here now. I'm over in our Discord. I'm over here in our Discord. We do have a good question. Who do I sit? Brisker, Hufanga, or Simmons? You can start 2 of the 3. And by the way, before we get this answered for you, if you would like to get access to our Discord, go over to our idpguys.org website, sign up for a membership, and then you'll have access to our Discord where you can ask all kinds of questions. You can talk with all these experts like Will, Logan, Matt Record as well. So it is definitely worth the membership price. Also, while you're at our website, go to idpguys.org/contest, and we are giving away a Nakobe Dean signed jersey. We are at 909 subscribers on YouTube right now. As soon as we hit that 1,000 mark, we are giving away that jersey. So make sure you're going over to idpguys.org/contest and signing up. You'll have 9 chances to win. But anyways, back to this question now, Will. It's Brisker, Hufanga, and Simmons. He's got to start 2.
I'm assuming Justin Simmons.
I'm guessing there's no.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting Justin Simmons this week. The matchup that San Francisco has this week, it's a really good opportunity for Hufanga to put off some big plays. I know he's been kind of down as far as scoring goes the last couple of weeks, but whether it's Wentz or what's his name, either way, they're gonna sling the ball, and that's opportunities for Hufanga. He's had a pick 6 this season. He's potential for another interception, some good tackles on some of those deep balls, a couple of pass defenses maybe, and Brisker's just a talented guy. He's getting in the box. He's getting tackles, and I think even with the weather situation, he's going to be productive this week.
And it sounds like the coaching staff is not happy with either of their quarterbacks in Washington right now with Wentz and I'm blanking on his name. Hold on. It'll come to me later in the show, and I know
Heineke.
it will.
It's just
Heineke. Yep. And actually, they came out and said if Heineke or Wentz is not playing well, expect to see the other one. So I think that rides on shoulders quite often.
So I'm going to amend my answer, actually, thinking about it, because I didn't realize that Justin Simmons has 4 interceptions in the last 3 games. And against the backup quarterback, I think I'm going to sit Brisker.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Justin Simmons and Hufanga. I think both of those guys have pretty good upsides. Yeah.
So William is asking Taysom Hill or Darren Waller for tight end.
What do you need? Do you need upside here? Because I think Taysom Hill's that upside play, right? He has to be.
Yeah. But also Taysom Hill's kind of that player where fantasy players go to die. Like, you die on that hill.
Yeah.
Because you just never know how he's going to be used week to week.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you really want a tight end playing in Pittsburgh tomorrow night? Or a tight end playing in Cleveland tomorrow night? Because that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. Taysom Hill at least will give you a little bit of a ground game if he lines up at quarterback. But he's still not going to throw the ball. As far as Darren Waller, Pittsburgh's going to get to Derek Carr. Does he have time to get the ball to Waller is the question. And we're also looking at probably 30 the 40-mile-an-hour winds there as well with negative wind chills.
Yeah.
So
Cleveland will be a wasteland for fantasy football
yeah,
tomorrow.
unless you have New Orleans linebackers.
Yeah.
I really, because Cleveland is the 10th worst team against linebackers. They're giving up the 10th most points to linebackers. So if you have Cleveland's or New Orleans linebackers, I would start them just because you're going to get a heavy dose of Nick Chubb.
Yeah, maybe Cam Jordan finally has a day.
He could. But back to this question, who you going with if you had to? I think I'm going with Taysom Hill just because of the chance that he does play some quarterback and get some rushing yards.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Is he should end up with a couple of designed runs and he'll get you a couple of yards. Maybe he gets a pass attempt or something short. Yeah, I think it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Play unders in Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. My friend lives in Ohio, and she says it's nuts. I can agree. I live in Canton, Will, and the winds have been howling the entire day, and it's not going to let up tomorrow either. So we're looking at negative 30 wind chill.
Jeez.
It's
hot in my house. I'm gonna open the window.
What is your take on Mark Andrews right now? He's not the Mark Andrews we have seen last year or the year before. Is it the Lamar Jackson injury? But even before that injury, he's not playing up to those standards.
He's been banged up all year, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, he's missed some games. He's been hurt. So I don't think that helps at all. It's hard because tight ends are they're so hit or miss, and they're so fluky as it is. And then we're so dependent on these three tight ends to be studs every week. And if they're not, we think something's wrong. And that might not be the case. You know, he could be fine, and the team is believing that they can win a different way.
Yeah. So back into our Discord here. Slick Venom is asking McKinnon or McLaurin.
Where are you at on that one?
McLaurin's going to get his targets no matter who the quarterback is.
Yep.
McKinnon, what's he been doing the last few games?
His last two have been off the charts. Running back one, I think, both the last 2 weeks. I think I'm going McLaurin there, honestly.
Yeah.
I want to say McKinnon. I really do. But I think McLaurin, this is going to be a good week for McLaurin.
So McKinnon last week against Houston was 10 for 52 with a touchdown and 8 receptions for 70 yards. Against Denver, he was 6 for 22 rushing. In the passing game, he was 7 for 112 with no touchdowns. Or 2 touchdowns. He had two receiving touchdowns against Denver. So it looks like they're really getting him involved in the passing game here. What is his snap percentage here? Low.
So,
He's the past 3 games, he's 36, 25, and 30%.
36, 25, and 30?
Yep.
So when he's on the field, they're using him, right? He's not on the field to.
Yeah. Except for
So
in Cincinnati, but that game was turning into a shootout.
San Francisco's given up about 170 yards to the wide receiver a game over the last 3. So, I mean, those are pretty decent numbers from a quarterback that you know is going to throw the ball. Excuse me, 180. I had that wrong.
Will's screaming, McKinnon, guys. Seattle is horrible versus pass catching backs. That is true.
That is true. Yeah. No, I just want to say something other than McKinnon because we've been saying it most of this show, and a lot of the time it's true. You start your studs when you get to this point, right? You don't sit your stud name guys, and so we're kind of talking about sitting a running back on his third team who had tons of potential and never really lived up to it because of injuries, and now we're talking about wanting to start that running back over one of our guys that I still consider a stud. Hasn't necessarily been the best year, but he's still a stud value player.
And he's going to get his targets, no matter who the quarterback is. He is that wide receiver number 1 there. I'm still going McLaurin, even though Will does bring up a good point here that Seattle is terrible against the pass catching backs. What scares me is his snap percentage, and do they start just throwing him out there like, hey, we're going to start to give that look like we're going to start throwing to him and not use that option. So, tough.
Yeah.
Matthew, hi. IDP question: Uche Thibodeau or Chase Young?
So, to me, I'm knocking Chase Young out right off the bat. We kind of touched on it earlier. We don't know what kind of snap share he's getting. It's his first game back. We don't really even know what he's going to look like at game speed. I don't want to trust that in my playoffs. I want to at least have seen a couple of weeks of him getting a consistent snap share and not ramping up because this is his first game of the season, first game since the injury. I don't blame you for putting him in the list and wanting to start him. I've got him in a couple of leagues, and I'm down on D-line, and I'm considering the possibility of starting him. But there are guys out there that I know have consistent snaps, and I'd rather take the consistency. He could go out there, play 6 or 7 snaps, feel something pop or go wrong, and miss the rest of the game. And I'm not willing to take that chance the first week back. Between Uche and Thibodeau, I like both of them this week. I really do.
I'm checking to see where we got them ranked here.
So Uche's higher.
We got Uche at 6 and Thibodeau at 11.
I think I'm going to go Uche there. I'm going to stick with my rankings. I think he's going to give you a good week.
From a Facebook user, who would you guys prefer between Thibodeau, Wilkins, and Judon?
Thibodeau is everywhere this week.
Yeah, he is. Well, you have Thibodeau ranked higher than Judon.
Yes.
By 5 spots. And Wilkins, you got at the highest, and you got him at 7. So you got Wilkins at 7, Thibodeau at 11, Judon at 16.
Yeah, I do.
Sticking with it?
Yeah, I think so. Green Bay does run the ball. They've got 2 talented backs. Dylan is playing, I think, or is he out with that concussion? They're gonna run the ball. Yeah, Dylan's playing. He's clear. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sticking with Wilkins. He's got a good tackle floor that you don't have with Thibodeau, and that's why I've got Wilkins up where I do, is that tackle floor. And he has the upside for a sack, a couple of tackles for a loss if your league counts that. So.
If you guys have any more questions, get those in the comments below. We will go as probably another 20 minutes as long as we have questions to be answered. Let's go check out Twitter here and see if we have anything for questions for this week.
I know, Will. I it's unreal, but again, I'm going to stick with my stud. I don't fault anybody for wanting to start McKinnon over McLaurin, to be honest. I get the logic. I see the line there, but I'm going to trust the guys that got me to where I'm at. And for most teams, McKinnon didn't get you there. Maybe he helped you get into the playoffs, but he didn't help you season long. And I'm going to trust the guys that have helped me season long. But again, I get the love of McKinnon right now. I do.
Yeah. It's just so weird having this show on a Friday night. We know we have football all Saturday, and I just wonder how many people are in that fantasy football mode right now where they know they have to get their lineup set. Also, we're cutting down on our people that are still in the fantasy football just because they're constantly getting knocked out of the playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I don't know if other people's family leagues are like this, but my family league, because it's family, even though people are in the bottom, the toilet bowl playoffs and whatnot, they're still playing because they want to beat people. I've got my best friend's playing his dad this week. He wants to beat his dad, so he's invested in the week. Yeah. My son's playing my dad today, so they're both invested because neither of them wants to lose to the other one. So I love that dynamic of family leagues. You don't get that in even some of the paid leagues. I don't think you get that in.
Yeah, so in our pay league, to combat some of that, we still do High Point gets $10 that week.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little bit more incentive to keep people interested. Otherwise, we had people just checking out.
Yeah,
and if you did have somebody taking it serious that weren't in the playoffs, it wasn't fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook user Derwin James, Chin, or Buddha.
Arizona does Arizona have this week? Oh, Tampa, that's right. I think it's Derwin for me. Got first week of Nick Foles in all season that Foles has played. Wait, yeah. So I like that opportunity there. Derwin has a chance for a big splashy play. Probably going to get some tackles because they're going to have to sling the ball to keep up with the Chargers. Buddha, I love Buddha, but I think it's Derwin. I really do. I'm just checking. I haven't looked at Chin's snap log. No. Okay, yeah, he played 68, so. Yeah, I think it's still Derwin. I would rank them the order you have them posted: Derwin, Chin, and Buddha.
Yeah. So Will saying, well, I have to decide whether I'm going to play McKinnon over Walker, Stevenson, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson. It's an easy call if Walker sits, but it's a tough one if he doesn't.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I even like Aaron Jones here too, just because Green Bay is going to start running the ball. Weather's changing in Green Bay. Although they are in Miami this week.
Yeah, they are. So, but are you comfortable playing two Green Bay players in this matchup because you're playing the running back and the wide receiver here?
See, I'm never comfortable playing two players from the same team, and that's just a quarterback wide receiver stack. So with that being said, I think I would only play one of those two guys in Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. And if I had to take a choice, I think I'm going Christian Watson. What would you do in that situation?
I think I would go McKinnon over Walker. I want Aaron Jones. I want Christian Watson on the field because one of those two is going to go off. One of them has to. Yeah, I would go McKinnon over Walker. The fact that Walker hasn't practiced all week, I know he played Thursday, but he practiced limited the practice before the game, and he hasn't practiced at all this week. That has me concerned. I would hate to trot Walker out there, him get a couple of snaps in, and not feel right and miss the rest of the game. For your situation, Will, in my playoffs, I don't want that to happen. It still burns me because championship week, I started Adrian Peterson after he didn't practice all week because everybody said start your studs. And then he came in, played the first quarter, and went out, and I lost. So I would hate to be in that situation with Ken Walker, and I would play McKinnon over Walker for you.
To add to his roster, he has his wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, and St. Brown. Running backs are McCaffrey, Stevenson, so Walker and McKinnon are his choice, and Watson are as well for flex. And he has 2 flex spots. So I'm 100% starting McCaffrey and Stevenson. No question, hands down. Starting those two. I think I'm going McKinnon. He has 2 flex spots, so he can go McKinnon and Watson there.
Mm-hmm.
To take Walker out, unless you want to wait till game time. I'm not even sure what time Seattle's playing off the top of my head.
Seattle is Saturday. I think they're in the early slate on Saturday. I don't have the times in front of me. Well, Seattle plays Kansas City, so you got to decide between Walker and McKinnon there.
Okay, that's right. Would you possibly wait till game time, see if you see any news?
No, I would go McKinnon over Walker now. Because it's playoffs, I don't like waiting till the last minute to make a roster change. Because if something happens tomorrow and you're not available when that news comes out, your phone's not next to you, you're on the phone with somebody, something happens, and it turns out that Walker's out, and now you got to go swap McKinnon and you can't get to it in time, you kind of end up SOL. So I like to set my ideal roster, like what I'm comfortable with having, and then if I have time to make a change tomorrow, then I can make that change. But to me, whether Walker plays or not, I think for your roster, I'm going McKinnon over Walker.
Rashaan Evans or Drew Tranquil?
That's an easy Rashaan Evans. I love Tranquil. He's played great this year. But Rashaan Evans has just been playing out of his mind.
Will said, Jesus, guys, I forgot to throw Aaron Jones in there. See my predicament? No, but so if I'm Will here, I'm playing McKinnon over Aaron Jones just because I don't like to have multiple players, and unless it's like I said before, it's a QB wide receiver stack.
So I think we're all in agreement, McKinnon, now. Did we talk ourselves into McKinnon?
We finally walked through this answer several times, Will. Took us a while, but I think we got you figured out. I think we're going to go McKinnon here. How do you guys feel about Rachaad White? Not sure if I should stick with him or with Walker and Latavius, or replace one of them with Rachaad.
I like Latavius. To me, the question is between Walker and Rachaad White.
Yeah. Looking up, because I did pick up Rachaad. I do like Rachaad. I'm taking Latavius for sure.
Latavius is getting the work. He's pretty much getting the workload there. There's not a lot of concern behind him.
Yeah. What sucks is I think Rashaad's the better running back.
Yes.
In his situation. It's
He
just
is,
when do they make that switch to him being RB1? And I would like to think it's this week, just because they only have a 1-game lead in their division.
Something like that. It's close. They're right there.
And I think he's the true RB1 in Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, he's had double-digit carries, just carries, double-digit touches. If you want to count touches, it's since week 10, he's had 11. Since week 9, he's had double-digit touches every week. Last week he had 11 carries for 38, 2 targets, only caught one of them. But he's there. He's getting the workload. Arizona's not very good against the run.
No.
And they already have Zach Allen out for this week, who's been solid for them on the defensive line.
Matter of fact, Arizona's so bad, they're in the bottom 6 against the rush.
That feels right.
So, and it, just from watching a little bit of Tampa Bay, it seems like Rashaad's going to get maybe most of the carries in the red zone too. But that was a very small sample size of me watching red zone.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about red zone, is you don't know the whole drive,
Yeah.
So, but I like, and it pains me to say it a little bit, but I like Rachaad White, especially in this matchup this week.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mal, is Alex Anzalone a good LB3 for this week? It's a 16-team league, but waivers wire is stacked this week. I could DFS half my team this week. That's so. Like we said, going back to the beginning of the show, weather's bad in a lot of these games. Cold, wind, precipitation.
Carolina's in a stadium, though, right?
Say that again.
Carolina's in a stadium, right? Indoors.
Where are they playing at? I'm not
in Carolina.
Carolina's outdoors.
Oh, okay. I don't watch a lot of Carolina games.
But I'm not sure what the weather is. I'm
sorry,
sure
I didn't mean to derail your thought process.
No, you're fine. But I'm sure they're going to get the wind that everybody's been getting the past day or two here. That front's going to be moving that way. So I'm like Will said here before, linebackers are going to be your friends in most of these games. As far as Anzalone, let's go see where we have him ranked.
I mean, yes, he is a good linebacker 3, depending on the 4 linebackers you have around him.
Yeah. Mal, give us your other linebackers as well and other options that you could be picking up.
So it looks like tomorrow in Carolina, the winds are going to be sustained around 10 miles an hour. Going to be in the upper 20s. So
in a 16-team league,
Anzalone's a great
Anzalone
LB3.
would be your LB3, a high-end LB3. We have him ranked at 35.
Yeah, so that's almost an LB2. It's fringe LB2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I like him.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, one more.
So I'm guessing those are your other options.
Her current linebackers are Nick Bolton and Jewel, and it looks like
Okay, Nick Bolton and Josie Jewell. So yeah, I think based on more information, Anzalone's a good LB3 there.
absolutely.
I feel like that agrees with our ranks too.
Yeah, he's almost a linebacker too in our rankings here.
Yep, and I think Pete Warner's back this week, so Caden Ellis might get relegated back to the bench.
Yeah. Out of all those guys I mentioned, I'm probably sitting Walker and Christian Watson. Yeah. Even though I do like Watson.
I do too, but again, there's we've been over this, but there's the potential that Christian Watson only gives you 4 or 5 points this week.
Yeah. From a Facebook user, Hunter Henry, Cade Otton, or Jawan Johnson. Whether it's going to be horrible in Cleveland, New England, and Tampa Bay just seemed very inconsistent when it comes to tight end. Yeah, I don't like any of them.
No.
Don't like any of them.
I mean, I want to say Jawan Johnson if the weather wasn't going to be trash.
Yeah. Whoever we're talking to, who do you have on your waiver wire that you could possibly pick up? Because honestly, those three options are not great options. But if Cleveland was in a dome, I would say Jawan Johnson, but they're not.
Yep. As gross as those options are, I think the one that has the potential to be even the slightest bit relevant is probably Cade Otton. And I say that in part because they're playing in Arizona, and he's scored touchdowns recently. So I don't have that in front of me because I don't own Otton anywhere because I don't trust him in any of my dynasty leagues. Except for ouch. Yeah, it's even looking at his stats, it's Cade Otton to me. Arizona again can't stop tight ends just like they have done historically. So somebody in Tampa is going to get a touchdown from Tampa.
Yeah, Cade Otton's last touchdown came in Week 13.
That's not that long ago. This is the
Against
week.
New Orleans. His targets are not good, Will.
I know. But Arizona is also not good.
That is true. They're a team in shambles. Last week he was 1 for 1. The week before that, 5 for 4. And then when he scores his touchdown, he's 10 for 6.
So other than that 10 for 6 week, he's catching 90% of his passes. Those are good odds.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't like any of those options.
No. But it is tight end, so
yeah. Hey, not a problem, Mal.
Happy to help.
He says he's down huge and he needs a home run, Watson over Jones is probably what he's going to go with. I think so. I think Watson has a huge upside.
Doesn't Jones have the same upside though?
So here's my thinking. I think Rodgers has a better connection with Watson than any other receiver on the team, right? Just as of right now. And I feel like he's comfortable going to him. Jones, he's got split time in the backfield with AJ Dillon coming back too.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm comfortable knowing that I've seen it from Aaron Jones, where he's had monster games with the receptions and the rushing yards. So, but yeah, I mean Watson. Yeah, I don't think that's the wrong decision.
I mean, he could be a 2-touchdown receiver. We've seen that from
Absolutely.
him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mal. So start 2: Donovan Wilson, Jason Kearse,
Should be.
Jalen Petrie, or Rasul Douglas.
I like J-Ron Kearse a lot, especially this week, because Kearse has made some big plays, and they're going up against. We just talked about him earlier. Eagles quarterback, second string. Gardner Minshew. There we go. Words are coming to me. I like Kearse this week a lot. Yeah. I wouldn't want both Cowboy DBs.
No.
So I think, to me, it's Kearse over Wilson. And it could totally go the other way in the game, but I think Kearse is better on your upside there.
All right, let's finish this out by helping out our Facebook user here. So those are the best tight ends, but he could grab that he could grab when Ertz went down. It looks like he has Akins, Disley, Tanyan, and Tremble are the top tight ends available in the Dynasty League waiver wires.
Well, still gross. I was hoping by some miracle that Mark Andrews had been dropped. What did Akins do last week? Because I think he had a couple of solid weeks.
Disley has not been getting the targets that you need.
No, he's been on the field.
He's been on the field, yeah, and he does have a touch. His one target last week was a touchdown. Tanyan
hasn't done it for us this year.
No.
I think I'm sticking with Cade Otton, even with that list there.
Robert Tanyan does have 2. Never mind. He doesn't have any touchdowns. He's been targeted 2 times the last 2 games with only 1 catch. So, yeah, I'm sticking with Cade.
Yep.
It's outside of those top 4 tight ends. You're looking at pretty much the same thing across the board, unfortunately.
Yep. So you want to play your best matchup, and I think Otton's got the best matchup out of your group of tight ends there.
And it's not even the best matchup. It's just the best weather conditions.
Yeah, that too.
Which is crazy. This week's going to be crazy. It's going to be a low-scoring, defensive battle for most of these teams.
I like it. I like good defensive games. Even though I play fantasy and I play the IDP side, I've always been a fan of good defensive slugfests.
Yeah.
So it should be fun. Really quick to go back to Mal, J-Ron Kearse and Rasul Douglas this week. Those are my 2.
And so we'll end on this question right here. Any sleeper defensive ends that you guys like this week?
Well, I would say Sam Williams, but he's out because he got in a car accident yesterday. It hurts a lot. Looking through the matchups.
Is there anybody you got your eye on? Is the
Denver.
question, Mal. Because this is hard to say since we don't know who's available, and if I remember correctly, this is a 16-team league.
Yeah.
So just give us a few names here, and we'll wrap this up. Another tight end question: Waller or Freiermuth, Murray or and then Murray or Mostert, PPR. Freiermuth.
Yeah.
I like Murray.
I'm gonna go Mostert. That is assuming that Jeff Wilson does not play. If Jeff Wilson plays, then I would go Murray with you.
Yeah, I didn't take into account Jeff Wilson not playing.
Yeah. And then I can do this next Facebook user, and then I got to get off.
Okay.
Still got Christmas shopping to do.
Yep, I got some wrapping to do and finishing up some wings in the deep fryer. Ooh, they're so good. Brady or Minshew this week. Also Waddle, Walker, Dobbins, McKinnon. Half PPR and sit 1. Brady over Minshew.
Minshew over Brady. I think the Cowboys Eagles game should be higher scoring than what you're going to get from the Bucs and the Cardinals. Don't forget the Cardinals are starting Trace McSorley this week and not Kyler Murray. So I see that being a low scoring game or an early blowout where Brady gets seeded or they focus heavily on the run.
But I think even with that big lead, we've seen big leads disappear last week.
Sure.
And Tampa Bay's not great. Like they haven't been showing us the greatness that they've shown us in the past couple years. So I think even if they get a big, I think we'll see Brady and he'll be throwing the ball, just to secure that playoff spot and then hopefully get into a better rhythm for the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think Minshew's got a higher upside just because there's going to be more points in the Cowboys game. I believe.
Minshew scares me. That's the only thing it comes.
It is a fear. It is a fear. Definitely.
Waddle, Walker, or Dobbins, or McKinnon. Oh, geez. So, we've already talked Walker with his back. Probably not going to happen. As far as starting.
Yeah, I'm going to sit Walker out of that.
So I'm starting all the others. I'm starting Waddle, Dobbins, McKinnon.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, if you can wait, set that lineup, Waddle, Dobbins, McKinnon, then right last minute, if you hear Walker's full go, no limitations, start Walker. And I'm starting him over probably, oh, geez. Who would you start him over?
Dobbins. I know Dobbins is the wrong name to say, but if McKinnon's on the field, he's getting the ball, and that's what we've seen. So
yeah, here,
yeah.
So
McKinnon.
let's just do this rapid fire for Mal here. DJ Reader, Jerry Hughes, Carlos Dunlap, Autry, DeMarcus Walker. I really like DJ Reader. He's been showing out the last couple weeks.
I do too. I was going to say DJ Reader's high on that list for me. Yeah, DJ Reader is probably the potential sleeper there.
Yep.
And that includes that second line he's got in there.
Yep. And then last question, Pollard or Connor?
Pollard.
Pollard. I agree. But with that being said, thanks guys for showing up on a Friday night before Christmas. With that being said, best of luck in all of your playoffs. We hope to see you guys next week. And with that being said, Merry Christmas and best of luck.
Merry Christmas, guys. Good luck today. Don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube so we can give away that jersey.
Yep, 91 more subscribers. So go hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next week.